All right. There's a dangerous rumor that we are live.
Oh, scary.
Okay, I am here with, and I have been told by Discord, it is you do not have a last name. Your name is Jake from Nerd Level Rising.
That's true.
They had no idea who was on that thumbnail. Nobody's ever heard of this last name before. So
No,
apparently, I
stranger.
was wrong. All right. And we've got, I don't know which one of them it is. It could be the whole thing. Oh, it's she put her name in there.
Yeah, there
It's
you
Shar.
go.
I'm not even reading. I was just looking at the nameplate. So Shar is in the chat. Hanging out. Appreciate it. I do have a couple of questions I'm going to start off with, and some
Okay.
of these you have answered before. First and foremost, I want to say you are almost almost a year into your BookTube channel.
Yes,
I
sir.
went back and looked at that first one, and it had the old 11 months up there.
Yeah.
And as of 10 minutes ago, right before we hopped on, I did check, and you were like 2.99K subscribers.
Yeah.
And so you need like 10 people or so. I mean, I
I
can't
know.
remember the exact number, but
It's close. I think it was uh I will be honest, I've been looking at it pretty closely just because it's cool, right? I just want to
yeah,
see, I just want to get it. Um and I think I needed six more earlier today.
gotcha.
So we're getting
Hey, no,
close.
it is cool. And it's like, people's like say, "Oh, don't worry about the numbers." But let's face it, when you get to like a nice big round number, it's like you're like I'm almost to that spot. Like right now, I'm like 9.2 or something like that. I don't look at that every day. When it starts getting close to 10K, like, if it's like right on the
Yeah.
cusp, I'll be like, "Did I get it? Did I get it?"
Right.
But,
Oh, dude, you better believe when I was getting close to 1,000, I was checking like every hour. I was like, "What am I at? What am I at?" It's cool. It's fun, right?
well, let me just say this too, and we do have questions, I promise. But for instance, you've been on 11 months and you have 2.99K. Uh, I've been on for this is my fourth year, and yes, I'm over 9,
Mhm.
but at 11 months, I think I had 13 subscribers.
That's what I was expecting. This is as weird to me as it is to everyone else.
So but again, I always tell people I did it wrong, you're doing it right. I literally started out as an interview channel,
Mm.
so there was nothing to watch in between interviews. So
Oh, okay, sure.
it's not like there was nobody was coming back to my channel week after week.
Mm.
There really was nothing there. Hey, there he is.
What's up? Long
Yeah,
time no
I
see.
tried watching that live interview you were having with Jake earlier, but, I was turned back. Alright, but,
That's funny.
the one question, like I said, you did answer this in your intro video, so this is just for anybody who has not watched Jake's very first video. What got you in? Because I know I had seen you originally, I think probably at the same place you saw me, Town Square.
Yeah.
What got you in to finally get over the hump and say, "I'm gonna do the YouTube channel"?
Yeah. Well, first of all, before I get, let me say thank you so much for having me on here, dude. This is awesome. A Grifkin interview is like a rite of passage, I feel like. So this is cool. What got me started? So I think this was sort of a couple of things. I think the primary thing was I just wanted to talk to more people and make more friends, right? Like that was the biggest thing. And I'm somebody in my normal life, I'm kind of shy, kind of introverted. Um, like I will, if something comes up in the fantasy sci-fi sphere, whatever, like I'll ramp up and I'm super excited to talk to somebody about it, right? But it just doesn't come up in normal conversation most of the time. And so I'm kind of like, I just want to shout about this stuff. And I have a couple friends in real life who are into, some of the books that we all read. I got some friends into Stormlight. I got a friend into Sun Eater now, and like some people are loving it. It's so fun to talk to them. But I just wanted more. I was greedy. So I wanted to jump in there and frankly, I wanted to become friends with some of these people I watched on BookTube. I would see people. I'm like, man, we have a lot of similar interests. I just feel like we could be homies. And I just that was such a big thing. I just wanted to talk and have fun and talk about books more and all of that. I think there was a secondary piece to it that was sort of like, I just remember sitting there. I took a good hard look at myself and I was like, bro, you're spending an awful lot of time reading these books. This is a lot of your day that you're spending on this. And like it'd be kind of cool to get something out of it on the other side, right? Like beyond just I mean, the story itself is amazing, and that's such a big piece of why we read. But I'm like, man, I have I enjoy capitalism. I, sort of entrepreneurial mindset in some things, and I'm like, this would be, you can make a little bit of money from YouTube. That could be kind of cool, right? And I never in a million years would have guessed I'd be a YouTuber, like ever, ever. But eventually, I was just like, you know what? Let's try it. You never know, and maybe someday I can make $10 a month and I can go buy a book or whatever, and like that would just be cool to get some sort of return from it. And you get a community you get to hang out with. Like, how cool would that be? So, um, the biggest thing is just the community and friends and fun and all that. But like, it's the numbers are cool. It's fun, and like to be able to get a little bit of something on the return side of the equation is a cool prospect, right? I don't think this will be a full time job for me ever, but a little something to help paying for some of these books would be nice.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, even if you're like at somebody like Petrick's level, the booktube is not probably the spot where the AdSense or the
Yeah,
sponsorships are gonna quite get you to retirement.
yeah,
But it's fun as heck. Let's face it.
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you just like you talk to people and it's like, holy crud, I can't believe I'm talking to this person.
all the time,
All right.
all the time.
And Red did say it's sort of live
Yeah,
in the
it
future.
was live for us too, and that's what matters.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'd be very sad if it wasn't.
yeah,
Um, so getting back, let's go back a step further because, like I said, that was covered in your opening video on BookTube.
sure.
What first got you into reading itself?
Oh man. So I think the earliest memories I have would be when I was really little. My dad would read to my brother and I before we went to bed, and he wasn't a reader at all, like never ever. As in, like when I was older, like in my 20s, I would see him grab a book to like learn something about leadership or something like that that he can use in his job or whatever. But like it was never fiction, nothing. And those are some very very fond, special memories to me, and I think that that was one of the big things that made me like it, and then also seeing my mom had a book all the time when I was a kid, and it was a lot of, I remember seeing a lot of Stephen King, I remember seeing a lot of these, like, crime, serial killer, thriller kinda books, and not much fantasy or anything, but, I think she read The Dark Tower, and I think there was, like, a couple things here and there, but just seeing her with that, and then she would take us to the library all the time when I was a kid, and, you know, it just I almost couldn't help but like it. I was either gonna like it or hate it, right? One of the 2, and so I thankfully wound up liking it and stuck with it, and I was just it was like my primary thing when I was really little, and then I kinda like most people, you get to late grade school and high school, and you're kinda too cool for books for a little bit, but then eventually you come back and see the light, and here we are. So, yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. The community, like, it's such a it's such a cliche at this point. People talk about how amazing the community is, but it's so true, man. It's you make such genuine friendships. It's awesome. I'm so happy.
Well, and I think too, I mean, even in the book community, I think almost all of us, like for instance, I've got a weird family where my wife likes to read, both of my kids like to read. We all like to read, but there's
Yeah.
still other people in that family. You're talking about you want to talk about books like you read? You like to read?
Yeah.
Like for pleasure?
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of people just don't understand that. Um, and I kind of grew up the same way with you. My dad wasn't around the house much because he was working 2 jobs, but my mom did like to read.
Mhm.
Now, she also wasn't big in this sci-fi or fantasy. She did have a little bit of a I remember, oh, I just blanked her name, VC Andrews, which is kind of that horror genre a little bit,
Okay.
but there was a lot of romance. Eh, life goes on. Uh, but she did allow me, like, I started I'm one of those weird kids, I read the classics, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea,
Yeah.
pretty much anything that there was, like, a Reader's Digest condensed version of, Gulliver's Travels, all that crap.
Mhm.
Uh, so, yeah, I kinda brought but again, I think the reason the booktube community is so strong is because most of us are looking for that person to talk to.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to be behind the camera like you and I, but there's still people's like, I want to get in. I mean, I think Discord, like you guys, is obviously Talking Stories Discord's big. The Book Street Boys Discord is big. There are people that want to talk about books and they don't have many, if any, friends or family that wants to sit
Mhm.
there and listen to them prattle on about, so and so's got a new book, dragon book coming out. Just
Yeah. You're like, "What?" Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Thank you for saying that it's big, by the way, the Discord. I was hesitant, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, "I do not have time for Discord, there's no way." But, I'm really glad I jumped in with those guys, it's been really fun.
Yeah, my Discord's kind of tiny, but I'm one of those people. I never remember to mention that crap at the end of every
Me
video.
either.
Join the Discord, join the Patreon. It's like I don't remember it. I was going to ask you about though how. I mean, I know you're part of the Book Street Boys. Who started that up and who decided? Because I think it's a great idea because you've got all of your different followers, for lack of a better word. I'm not mean that condescendingly.
Sure.
The people that follow your channels, people, and they kind of all get into the Discord, and then they're like, it's all together, and like, oh hey, we get to talk to all these other people that we would have never met.
Yeah, it was a great idea. I don't know whose original idea it was, but it was either Preacher or Christopher Nava. It was one of the 2 that started it. Christopher Nava was the one who actually reached out to me about it, and Preacher actually asked me once before, and I was like, "Dude, I do not have time for this. I'm sorry, I can't do it." And then some time passed, and then, Chris hit me up, and I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I'll jump in." So, credit to those guys and also, all the work of setting it up, like, they put a ton of work into that, and Slay helped a ton, and, I think some others did as well. Like, I did absolutely nothing to make that as cool as it is. All I did is jump in, and I can talk to some people now, but, like, all the credit to everybody else.
Yeah, I don't think Slay sleeps.
I don't know how he Slay is a very special,
Yeah,
like, ascended type of person.
yeah. Shout out to Slay. I know he's probably not on here, but yeah, I'm half tempted to invite him to mine just so that my Discord will start doing
There
something.
you go. Yeah.
The Discord does pop off. Uh, but yeah, it's like, and I don't know how you do it because you guys have that group, but somehow John Minton's Discord, and we're not here to talk about John Minton, but I found that almost everybody I know in Book Street Boys is also in Talking Story. It
Yeah.
seems like those 2 Discord. I don't know why they don't just put them in with you guys at this point, but, yeah, sometimes I'll, like, go away for a weekend, I come back and I look at the Discord and I'm like, "Scroll down.
Yeah, it's impossible.
If I'm
See,
gonna
this
read
is
this, I am never gonna catch up."
No. This is why I was so hesitant. It moves so fast, and,
Yep.
like, my only exposure to Discord had been I was in, Mike's Book Reviews Discord, and that was my only exposure to it. I barely knew what it was, and it was like, you leave for an hour, and there's 300 new messages. I'm like, "I cannot do this." And then John's obviously exploded, and it's huge, and, so I'm in that one, but I barely look at it because I just can't keep up. This one at least it's small enough that I can still keep up with parts of it. Some of it is still too much, but, you know. But it's fun. I'm glad it's there.
It is fun, but let's face it too, most of us, and of course, as being a person in one of your Discords making comments, 95% of the time, if you see a ton of stuff, yeah, maybe there's a conversation about something, but also maybe it's just a, flame war between a couple of people just having nobody gets mean in those, but, there's some snarky comments going on in the
Sure.
Discord.
Sure. It's all in fun, though. Um, yeah, it's all in fun. It's on my list to get better at being in there more.
Yeah,
Um, there's a lot. I got a lot going on right now, so I'm trying. It is on the list, though. I want to be more present in there. It's not like I'm never there, but it could be more for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I get that too. Let's face it, I mean, we're talking about Discord right now, but if you have a YouTube channel, you've also got to have something else.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, otherwise, it's gonna take people forever to find you. I get a lot of new people. I don't know. I can't remember. I think you're on it. Are you on Blue Sky?
No, I don't think
No?
so.
Okay. But I mean, they've either got Twitter or Instagram or Threads or TikTok.
Yeah,
Everybody's got something. It's not just Discord. And
right.
next thing you know, you're either putting the same thing in 15 different places or you've got to come up with 15 different things.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden you've got a full-time job that's not paying you minimum
Uh-huh.
wage. Let's face it.
Yep.
It is
It
crazy.
is it's a tough one, trying to balance how much time to put into it with, I hate to say the return that you get because that sounds so clinical and not
Right.
fun, but, like, there's a certain point where you have to, not spend more time you have to go make money somehow, right? Gotta pay your bills, so, yeah, Angel no Angel knows, that's the answer for sure.
Yeah, there was an entire creatine, conversation in the Discord
Yeah.
today saying that. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
So, one of the things I think too that you because let's face it, to a certain extent, you have to have a bit of a niche on BookTube just to stand I mean, yeah, you can have something as somebody else, but it certainly helps to have your own thing.
Mhm.
You cover a lot of the other stuff, for instance, anime, and it's not that nobody's doing it, but it's also
Sure.
something that why watch you versus watching John versus watching me versus watching Brian, Mike, Patrick, Murphy, you all know the names. Anyhow,
Yeah.
um, what decided I mean, what t thought process did you go into, for instance, when you were starting the booktube? It's like, what made you decide, "What am I going to cover and what am I not gonna cover?"
Um, that's a good question. I think I knew from the get-go, I knew I wanted to do books and anime for sure. And that's part of why I picked the name the way that I did. I didn't want it to be directly reading focused, the name. Because I call it Nerd Level Rising. Anything that makes me more of a nerd, I can talk about, right? So I was like, cool. I know I want to talk about those things, and we've done some D&D stuff on the channel, but not a ton. I want to do more with that. I have a pipe dream of somehow doing some sort of live stream Magic the Gathering game. I think that'd be fun, and just any manga, anything, right? Just anything that I feel like is nerdy. I want to be able to talk about. Just keeps my options open. So that was intentional. In terms of, like, what not to talk about, it's really just things that I, don't know so much about, right? Like, I don't talk about horror books because I haven't read any horror, or, to my shame, I should get some more. But some of those things, it's just that, or like video games, I haven't talked about really because I know very little. I gamed a lot back in high school, but that's been 10 years, 13 years now. Geez, that makes me feel weird. That I want to get back into it, and I was like, oh, this is a good excuse. I could live stream myself being absolutely horrible at video games. That'd be fun. But and that could go on
What's
the
your
channel.
family doing? It's research.
Exactly. Exactly right. Right. Um, so yeah, I just want to keep my options open, and really just not talk about stuff, where I wouldn't know, yeah, where I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. And like, I'll be honest, right? There's stuff where I don't really know things, and I'll just be honest and be like, hey, I don't know what's up with this, but you know, but yeah, that's really it. And I try not to, I don't know, get outside my wheelhouse too far, if that makes any sense. Like, I can't really. You might notice I don't really review books that much, right? Like, um, like, or I don't review movies or whatever. Like, I don't know film. I don't really, it's like I'm like, oh, it was good. Like, that's the extent of my movie review. So I don't really do that so much. I feel like I'm getting better at talking about books in that way, but I'm still not amazing at it. And so I've sort of, you mentioned, like, why watch this person versus that person or whatever. And
Yeah,
I've some of that to me is just, you know, I think I love watching people like Philip Chase, or David from Four Corners of the Page, or I mean, there's a bunch of people who are so good at analyzing the thing and talking about the themes and the craft, and like, oh,
right.
I eat it up, right? But I also love somebody like John or like Mike, who is just like, hey, this is awesome because it made me feel this thing, and it's so relatable, and I love that too. And so I've tried to sort of, I don't know, I guess, do a little bit of both, and sort of be somewhere in the middle ground. And maybe that's me being a people pleaser, but I think it's more so me just, my natural state is I'm just a fan and I want to be excited to talk about this thing.
Right.
But I love learning more about how to analyze a story and how to do all those things. So that's been fun to kind of go down that rabbit hole a little bit also. So there's a very long, rambly, hopefully not completely nonsensical answer to that question.
Oh, no, it's perfect. I mean, let's
Cool.
face it, the average person doesn't talk in script dialogue where, you
Yeah.
get the perfect prose and we've got our ums and pregnant pauses and,
Course.
direction changes. It
Yeah.
happens.
Totally.
In fact, I'm
Totally.
usually impressed. There's not too many books. The Good Soldier by Ford Maddox Ford. I'm not here to promote books today, but if you guys wanna see a good one where it's one of the few ones that's in second person, so that they're actually talking to you, but as they're telling the story, it's exactly that way. He tells you about something, and that reminds him of something else, so he goes up and like, "Oh, so this happened," and it's meandering without being lost, and
Mhm.
it's hard to pull off to write actually good dialogue, so it sounds like actual people talking. 'Cause
Yeah.
actual people don't talk like good dialogue. For instance,
Right.
that sentence there was horrible. My English teacher would have rolled over in her grave, but it is what it is. And then, of course, there's also Petrick, where you can go to look at a bunch of books that you can't afford.
Mhm. That is true.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with Red on that one. I have found I'm one of those weird ones, I can write a very pretty piece for, like, Goodreads about a book,
Mhm.
but when I do a recording video and I'm not staring at what I wrote, yeah, I'm all over the place, let's face it. It's And then there's John who convinces you that every book he's ever read, you just need to buy.
He's the best, man. He nobody can pitch a book like he can. That's for sure.
Angel says if he's not working, he will watch the Magic the Gathering
See,
video.
I gotta figure out how. It's tough because like, you'd have to have everybody would have to be able to position their camera to see the cards, right? Unless we're just looking at each other.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe you don't have to see the cards so much.
you
But,
probably don't have to see the card. Well, I think people would wanna see the cards. Like D&D,
yeah,
you don't have to see everything.
right.
A lot of it's just the talking and blah, 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 but
Yeah,
I feel like Magic the Gathering, you would probably have to have, like, the double camera setup where you've got,
yeah,
like, this one and you've seen people who've also have, like, especially, like, the art people will have that second one that's coming down across their desk, or even a
yeah,
few gamers, so you can watch their hand movements when they're
yeah,
playing games.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I can't do that anyhow. I can watch you do it. I can't replicate it.
Yeah, it would be tough. I bet you're right. You probably would need 2 cameras to do it because you wouldn't be able to see people's faces, right? Otherwise, it's I don't know, it'd be more fun to
And
watch that way.
who wants to actually stare at the placemat the entire time?
Yeah, but, like, the players need to be able to see all the cards, otherwise, how do you know what you're doing, right? So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
And Chad, I haven't forgotten about you. I try not to get too far off topic in the middle of the conversation so you're not reading something and it takes you down a
Sure,
I've seen a few
this
of
is
those.
true.
They post something up there and then they don't even remember what they were talking about.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at, compartmentalizing my thoughts in general.
All right. And then Fox comes in with the what games did you play?
Um, so I was always a huge fan my favorite stuff was, like, God of War, Assassin's Creed, that kinda thing, where it was, like, a pretty linear story, but you could still do some stuff, and well, at least I don't know if that's true to say that was my favorite stuff. I played a lot of that. What I played the most of was RuneScape, played a ton of that. I did a lot of Guitar Hero and Rock Band and those things, and I did a lot of, like, NBA 2K. Those were kind of my mainstays, and then, obviously, there was some other stuff thrown in, but those were the most popular ones.
And Josefina is coming in here with an option for you.
Yes, what is this called? I've done this online with a friend before, but I would maybe she has an idea of how to get the camera to also show our face, so I could stream that part. But I
Well,
have done this with somebody before.
it's just like doing I think what she's talking about, like if there's software for it, what you'd have is just like a Twitch thing where you'd have the camera would be like a piece on the thing in the
Oh,
corner
I
or
see.
whatever,
I
and then
see.
the software would be the main screen, probably going through like OBS or something.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that's what
Figure it
she's
out.
I'm putting words in her mouth.
Yeah. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out because 'cause that'd be really fun.
Okay. Well, down here, I do see 100% and some fancy special effects, so I think that was part of that. All right. Oh, and it looks like Red had the name of that software.
Spell table. Yep.
Spell Table. That's the
Yep.
one.
That's what it was. Spell table's great. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm over. Maybe people are more. Maybe I should give people more credit that they could figure out how to do
Well,
this.
I think Shar is gonna come over and set it up for you. So,
Do it. It's.
yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
kidding, Shar.
that's what, a 25-hour drive or something. Not a big
That's the
deal.
thing is like, if you said it, you volunteered to do it, right?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Or, draft an arena, you can also do that too. I don't
That's
think it
true.
likes arena though. I think
I
it's
want
pretty
to play with the actual cards though. That's the fun part.
true. By the way, thing about me, if you ever wonder why I have a horrible, booktube name, it's because it did start as a gaming channel on Twitch, and I just had it they were named to both on the YouTube and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
now it's too late to change.
Oh, completely. I don't think it's a horrible name at all. There's a lot of brand recognition.
Yeah, but, I do find that even myself sometimes putting FTK together can be
Yeah.
hard to pronounce sometimes.
Sure. Okay.
Griftkin. It's like, okay. It looked pretty in my head. I should have said it out loud a few times before I went with it.
I think it's cool. If you don't mind me asking, where'd the name come from?
So, first of all, when I jumped on Twitch and YouTube, and I only had the YouTube because that's where once I decided to do the interviews, I was gonna like, Twitch after 60 days, it's gone. Nobody wants to do
Oh,
this.
really?
Yeah. Twitch does your on demand, don't stay. It's that was the live stream format. It looks like I just rebooted, but I'm still here, so I think we're good.
Mhm.
The screen went black. All right. But so I when I did the live views or the live thing, my first was John McGuire. We were on Twitch for live. Then I saved it and then I put that up. So that was all after the fact. The nice thing is you could edit it because it wasn't all live like
Mm.
this. I could have edited that whole bleep out there, but we're live, so life happens. Um, and the one that I'd used for everything, I literally used the same username on almost everything I ever did. Somebody already had it on YouTube. They're not using it. They don't have a channel. I don't think they're alive, but I couldn't use that. So I had
Oh,
to come up
bummer.
with something else. And so I changed the lettering on it, but I ended up going with Cryptkin because I love these little guys. It's a line of little tiny cutesy cryptids called the Cryptkins. And then when I decided, is like, you know what? I'm making this thing. I'm starting to get some subscribers. I don't know if I want to have a name that is completely, hey, you're using our name. Uh, so I just got it. Like I put it, it's a combination of Grifter, which is one of my favorite comic book characters, and then the Cryptkins, and I just kind of mushed it together. I'm like, hey, it looks cool. Sounds like a grizzly old bear looking dude. So, uh, and I just ran with it.
I love it. That's great.
All right, catching up on chat here. Just make sure I didn't miss too
Yeah.
much. I got this is true. I do love their playmats. Uh, what do we got here from Angel now? Oh,
Operation.
gotcha.
I told you I'm a fake doctor. I can't do that. Operation is as
Oop.
close as I'll ever get.
Oh wow, I'm way behind. Okay, so Red's ditching us. Just kidding. Glad you guys stopped in, Red. Uh, what do we got here? 2002 browser version of RuneScape.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why is that still in your memory bank?
The good old days.
I'm with you, Fox. I'm also old enough to remember that. All right. Jake needs to teach me Magic the Gathering. I think my husband cheats. Well, maybe. Be like that thing from Revenge of the Nerds. Like, no, you have too many queens. You need to get rid of some of these. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it. If you put in enough money,
Yeah. Yeah. That's been the I've done very well at not allowing myself to put a bunch of money into Magic. I've bought a
yeah,
couple just like pre-constructed commander decks, and I'm like, that's all I'm doing for right now. I'm not gonna. It's just fun with friends for right now. That's it.
all right.
Special
I
effects.
think we're finally catching up down here. Ah, yeah. So, all right. So I've caught up with chat. Sorry.
No.
So getting back because we got I think we got sidetracked on Magic the Gathering there. Although that was a good question. I like the question about the games.
Yeah.
The anime, what is your favorite anime?
Oh man, how do you do this to me? I don't know if I can pick a
Or
single
top
favorite. I think oh man.
okay, let's
So
make it an easier question. Somebody you know doesn't watch anime and you want to get them started in it, what are you gonna suggest?
oh, well that's a different answer.
Right.
Um
But it might
if
be
some
an easier answer.
it is maybe a little bit easier. If someone's never seen anything they want to get started, I think the classic go-to example is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Um it's got some of everything, right? It's got the action, it's got good animation, it's got the kind of darker stuff, it's got the light funny stuff, it's got some romance, it's got comedy, it's got everything. Um if somebody's here for, you know, gore and they want to pay attention and get like a really deep story, Attack on Titan I think is getting easier and easier to recommend. I think Full Metal is still like the easiest one, I think. In terms of my personal favorite, this is still I can't pick a single favorite, but I can give you a short list. Okay, I am a massive JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan. Um, I have not seen the One Piece anime. I will say that someday I'll watch it. But JoJo's is a huge one for me. I really love Haikyuu. That's why I actually just got a Haikyuu tattoo. It's one of my favorite things ever. Um, Naruto is up there.
I'm pretty sure you're rocking a
Um,
Naruto on your arm there too, aren't you?
yeah, for sure, right
That's
there. I got that. I have a Bailet from Berserk. I have a Dragon Ball. Haikyuu's on my back of my arm now. So we got a few. But yeah, I'll say Berserk just because it's Berserk, but the manga is obviously way better than the anime. I have such a soft spot for the original Yu-Gi-Oh and Dragon Ball Z. Like that's what I grew up with, and you know, still to this day, Yu-Gi-Oh is one of my favorite things ever. So I don't there's so many. Fruits Basket is up there. I like Titan a lot. Bebop and Outlaw Star and Trigun, those '90s things, some of the Gundam show. Like there's so many that are just awesome. So that's a weird one for sure. That's a weird one.
I don't know this one. Fox is coming out of left field with Banana Fish.
Yeah, I remember when this came out, and I didn't watch it, but I've heard it's really good. So I will need to come back and check that out at some point. So.
Yeah, I was a sucker for Initial D. Loved that one.
Mhm.
It was let's face it, it was a glorified car one.
Yeah.
Not the South Korean remake. That thing is horrible, by the way.
Okay, I didn't know about this.
It's mainly live action, but then they kept all the car chases or all the cartoons from the anime,
Mhm.
and they made the dad, like, instead of being the tough, gruff guy, he's like a complete, utter moron, total, you know, drunk. It's
Huh.
it's horrible. I watched
Okay,
one
that's too
episode, I
bad.
was done. But yeah, I love Initial D. I love Naruto, obviously. I read and watched all of the original, uh, I haven't tried out Berserk yet. I think I did Berserk wrong. I did the novel by Mieville and who's
Yeah,
the famous guy? Keanu Reeves.
it's different, man.
Keanu
Yeah,
Reeves.
different.
Uh, by him first, so I've read that, but I feel like I'm missing a lot of stuff to just jump into that book.
Yeah, I don't as far as I'm aware, it's a completely different IP. The Kentaro Miura is the guy who made the manga, right? I
Mm.
will I will die on this hill. He is an absolute genius, and, I hate that he passed away before he could finish it, but hopefully we still get a good proper ending. They're still continuing it after he passed. But it's one of my favorite stories regardless of medium. It's just incredible. The character work is unbelievably complicated, and the world building isn't
No,
super complicated, but it has enough that you can really latch onto it as a fantasy fan and really enjoy it.
yeah, I fact checked myself real quick. Yeah, Berserk, I was mixed up. The Keanu Reeves one is Berserker.
Ah, yes.
It's also spelled funky, but
Yes. That's right.
Brzkr. And yeah,
Yeah, that's
I had
right,
those
that's
mixed
right.
up in my head. My apologies.
No, no, you're good.
But I do remember reading and watching Bleach. That was another big one.
Yeah, Bleach is cool.
Never really got into was it Yu Yu Hakusho? Something like
Yeah,
that. What
I
about
love that one. I love it.
I've seen a couple episodes of let's face it, the downside is too is anime was also a lot of stuff when my kids were growing up, and so I kinda watched what they watched half the time.
Sure. Makes sense.
I probably
Yeah.
missed a few. I was never a One Piece fan, but I think it was the art style
It's
because
fair.
whatever reason I like the live action better.
I still need to watch the live action. I haven't seen that yet, but I need to.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. I just I just couldn't get into the art style on that one.
It's kinda weird. Uh, it feels childish, the art style, but the subject matter is just incredible. I never watched Zatch Bell, but I remember it being a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also I think most of the anime I followed too is whatever I got introduced through, and I'm dating myself again here. Shonen Jump magazine.
Yeah, I used to get those all the time.
I worked at a bookstore, and I would pick it up every month or what was it, monthly or weekly? I think it was monthly.
I think it was monthly, yeah.
Yeah. I'd pick it up every month until they quit doing it in the US.
Yeah. Those were awesome. I remember, just being randomly in the middle of a bunch of different stories and not knowing any of the context around it, but it was fun.
I think I got a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon somewhere that was it from one of the actual
Hell
magazines.
yeah. That's awesome.
They used to give away free cards too, so if you, like,
Mhm.
played any of those games,
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I got a couple cards from those, not a ton, but yeah.
Anime you didn't know was anime.
I need some I don't know what that is. Cool.
Yep, okay. You're not predating me with the '90s, I just don't think I was into anime back then, so that one I do not recognize. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Inuyasha. That's the one I think
That's
yeah.
yeah, I missed that one too somehow, but I will have to go back and watch it for sure. Yeah.
I intentionally missed all the ones for some reason, there's a really big anime thing for, like, people playing, like, basketball or tennis
Yeah.
or at least the mangas anyway. I don't know if they all made the anime, but the mangas was huge. I was like, "I really don't wanna watch this tennis one anymore."
I have not watched Slam Dunk yet, but I hear it's really good. Kuroko no Basket, the other basketball one, I love to death. And then Haikyuu, the volleyball one, is one of my favorite things of all time. So I'm definitely a big sports anime fan. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen some. I saw a random badminton one, Hanebado, I think it was called, or some other tennis. I've seen a bunch. They're fun.
I did like the one, and I can't remember the name of it, but there was one that was based around a guy who played Go, which is kinda like that Othello type game in the
Yeah.
I think it was something No Go actually, and I can't remember for the life of me.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar.
Those were good.
I can't remember the name, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I
Tokyo
have
Mew.
I haven't the name rings a bell, but I haven't seen that one either.
Alright. Hmm. I
Okay.
could be part of the problem.
Yeah. Us dumb Americans.
Well, let's face it didn't exactly start over here, so,
No.
it would make sense that they have a lot more options to pick from.
Sure.
What was the one I was watching the crud? Kai? No, never mind, I'm getting off topic, I'm never gonna remember the name of it. There's another one that my daughter got me started on, I watched, like, almost all the 1st season and haven't gotten back to it, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Uh, right,
Awesome.
anime well, I mean, they're kind of on the same subject, so manga, a lot of them obviously, a lot of the mangas have animes, but is there any manga that you love that
Sure.
doesn't have an anime yet?
I'll say Berserk because it barely has an anime. The the '90s anime is solid. Like it's not going to have the best animation and the best. Some of the art gets a little janky here and there, but overall it's solid and the story is good enough that that people should still go watch it. But the remake of it is god awful. There's a couple movies that they made for Netflix that are solid, but the '90s one is the best. But even that just covers the first. I think it's the first 14 volumes, and there's 42 that are currently out in the tankobons. I think there's still a couple that haven't been published physically yet. So that is by far, it is my favorite manga of all time. Now, One Piece is definitely giving it a run for its money at this point. But yeah, the 2016, all CGI and it's bad CGI. It's really rough. But the uh, the rest of Berserk post Thundercats was also awesome. post Golden Age, which is what that first season in the '90s covered. There's so much there that's so great, and I'm hoping that someday we get an actual good anime adaptation of all of it. That would be incredible, but I won't hold my breath.
Oh, yeah. Although I did hate Wile E. Kit and Wile E. Cat on Thundercats. I just
Yeah, they were something.
I wasn't a big fan of Narf either. I've never been a huge fan
Yeah,
of the comic relief, like, I didn't like Orko on Masters of the Universe.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, they're making a movie or something of Master of the Universe now too, right? Live action
There is a
movie
live
or TV
action,
show.
I haven't seen it yet, but I do know it's out, and there's been a few,
Oh, is
like,
it out?
well, no, there's a few sneak pictures or something of it
Oh,
is coming out, I've seen, but yeah, I don't know when it's actually although they did I'm still trying to decide how I feel about did you watch the last quote unquote remakes of those where they had Master of the Universe? Like one of them's Revelation and one of them's Revolution.
no, I didn't, but it's on my list to get to at some point.
I will say the art is better and some of the characters are better, but I'm not
Okay.
sure I'm actually enjoying the storyline.
Oh no. Okay. That's too bad.
But again, that may be let's face it, I think that sometimes a storyline might even be better, but if you're of a certain age, for instance, then you know that that original kinda has a place in your heart, and they're like, they ruined it. What are they doing?
Yeah, I totally get that.
It's gone way too techy for me. And I always know
Mm.
that obviously there was some tech in Master of the Universe, but it seems like the tech is, like, taking over the magic and the swords and all that stuff.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, it always felt more sword and sorcery to me than techie, but Gargoyles
Usually
was
counts as
lit.
anime, but Gargoyles was I do remember watching that with the kids when they were
Yeah,
younger.
I loved that show.
Alright. So, anime, manga, I know you started sci-fi fantasy, that's kinda like your bread and butter on the
Yeah.
channel other than the other nerdy stuff. When it comes to books, what else do you find bleeding into your reading?
Like other genres and stuff?
Mystery, horror,
Um,
fantasy? I'm not judging, I'm just saying.
you know what? Jokes aside, I kind of want do I wanna say this on the internet right now? Um, this is a private conversation, right? No one's gonna hear
Exactly.
this. The
There are like 5 of us on here, nobody will talk about it in Discord.
part of me is like, give me the craziest romantasy book just so I can see. I just wanna know what the boundaries are. I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Like, I just give me, like, the craziest thing. I've heard what some of them are, but, am I gonna actually enjoy it? I don't know, but I'm just curious, morbid curiosity. But, I want to try horror at some point. I have a, collection back there that I actually got in Salem, Massachusetts, which is a fun memory. But I have a collection of H.P. Lovecraft and a collection of Edgar Allan Poe. I've read some Poe growing up, but I want to do some Lovecraft. I want to get some more of that horror in there. I want to try Stephen King at some point. Um, I'll tell you what, reading John, Amy, and Jacob's book Discovery
Mhm.
got me like, I want some cosmic horror. I think that would be really, really cool. So I want to get more of that stuff. And lately, I was reading uh, The Heaven Tree on recommendation from Janie Wirtz, and it's just like historical fiction. There's no, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I told her, I was like, dude, I trust your judgment, but I don't know. I like my wizards and dragons and whatever. But she was like, trust me, it's amazing, right? And she was right. It blew me away. It was absolutely fantastic. And so I'm open to the idea of other historical fiction. I can't say that it's the thing that I'm the most excited for, but I feel my horizons broadening just a little bit.
Yeah, I've also found that for me, a good book is a good book. You've gotta I think any genre can have a good book.
Yeah.
Um, Lydia King wrote A Beautiful Lies, which is historical fiction,
Okay.
uh, set during the same time frame as, like, when, the Radium Girls, if you're familiar with that story, would have happened. So, it's the ladies who got cancer because they were putting the glowing thing on the watches, the old-fashioned watches would glow,
Oh,
and it's because they were using radium and they were getting radium poisoning. So it's set back during that time period, but it was an excellent story. I mean, that was all backdrop. Yeah, a good historical fiction to me, the history is the backdrop.
Yeah.
Don't give me Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I don't want that, but, uh, another person that like even nonfiction, and I'm blanking on his name, I can picture it, but the guy who wrote, like he wrote Moneyball and Flash Boys and a lot of those ones that have been made into movies. His books read like novels, even though
Oh,
they're
cool.
nonfiction. They're excellent. Um, yeah, I don't know about some of the other ones, or the romantasy, I will give it this, I wasn't a huge fan, but I at least liked The Courting of Bristol Keats, and I apologize to the author, her name has escaped me, but that was one where I felt like it was done well. There was romance, but if you don't like spicy, that it wasn't spicy. You knew the romance was there, but it didn't take over the story, and it
Yeah.
wasn't some girl spending 200 out of the 400 pages going, "Oh."
Uh,
Uh,
see, I'm like, I
don't
can
get me
get
wrong,
romance
not
anywhere.
all of
Give
them do
give
that.
me the craziest spice and smut. That's what I want. I can get
Well,
romance in anything else.
I won't say it's the craziest, but the author that I like, but I don't like it because she gets a little too spicy, uh, I think her first name is Kat, last or no, Kimberly Lumming. She wrote,
Okay.
like, she's got a series of books, and, like, one's like, "That Time I Got Drunk and Fell in Love with a Demon," or "Slept with a Demon," or was
Okay.
rescued kidnapped a demon. I don't remember what she did. There was something about a demon.
Okay.
Um, and I find that her writing to me is very much like if you took out the smut, it's very much like Travis Baldree, uh, Bookshops and Bone Dust, Legends and Lattes,
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
and I
I
really
think I've
like
seen these.
but, she does spend, a good chunk of the book also having sex, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, why not?
Again, for people who that's their thing, I've got no problem with it.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't like Kelly Link's Book of Love because I felt like they spent too much on the sex. That wasn't even romance, though. To me, that wasn't romance. So,
Okay.
I'm getting off
Yeah.
t but, yeah, there's definitely some good ones out there. Uh, I almost didn't post this because I thought this had Becky Chambers first, but it's Robert Chambers. Sorry, I can't nothing against her, I'm sure she's a perfectly nice woman, but I hate Becky Chambers' writing.
Oh. I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar. Are
Becky
these,
Chambers wrote A Long Way to a or like A Long, Long Way to a Small Angry Planet or something, which everybody
okay.
loved when it came out in our book club. Not a single one of us liked it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Eh,
What,
wasn't for us.
are you familiar with these names? I'm not sure what genre. I know I threw a bunch of things
Off
out, but
the my head. Robert Chambers and Carl Edward
yeah.
Wagner. I mean, he's
Okay.
got a nice middle name. I mean, that's really
Yeah. It's a
cool.
pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know him off the top of my head.
Okay.
Well, let's face it, like I was telling somebody the other day, unless you really, really, really stick to a genre, and I don't even mean science fiction fantasy, I mean, like, just fantasy, you're not going to keep up with all the
Yeah.
books that come out these days. It's just
Oh,
impossible.
yeah, no way.
You add a
I'm not
second,
even gonna
third
try.
genre, and you're just like, "I don't know."
Yeah. I'm reading a lot of older stuff these days, and having the best time, but I'm not even gonna try to keep up with new releases. Yeah.
Can't remember who it was, somebody was talking about, Something Wicked This Way Comes the other day, and is like, I bought that book, it's here somewhere. I probably bought it 2 decades ago, I still haven't opened it up, it's, like, this big, but it just just haven't gotten to it yet."
That's how it goes.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Yeah, absolutely 100%.
Yeah,
I
that's
went to Books A Million during the height of that books or when the movies were coming out, and people
uh-huh.
kept buying it. I mean, old people kept buying it, and so finally, I flipped to a chapter in the middle, I read 1 paragraph, and I'm like, "This writing is crap," and just never I was just trying to see what the hubbub was about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want it to be it doesn't have to be the most amazing prose ever, right? But just something. I feel seen. Give me okay. I know what anime you like. Okay, you know what I'm looking for.
Although I do remember I was working at Books A Million, we used to have you know Sin City.
Sort of. I know what it is. I haven't seen
They
it.
turned it into a movie, there's graphic novels. Well, we used to have to turn some of the graphic novels spine out because when you
Oh,
had the set, it was basically the outline of Jessica Alba's character up on the thing, and so
mm,
I was like, there's kids in this section.
yeah.
We at least had to turn those 2 around.
There you go. There you go. Is what it is.
Oh, wait, we have answers.
Oh, I've heard King in Yellow. Who was talking about that?
See, now that I have not heard of.
Dark fantasy and horror sounds cool. Who was I?
It does sound cool.
King in Yellow. Was that Vera? Maybe I don't know if you're familiar with Vera's channel. I think maybe she was talking about it and said she liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I want
I've
to say
seen
that's
her
right.
and other people. I don't think I've watched her channel herself, but I've seen
It's
her show
great.
up on other people's.
Yeah, it's great. It sounds cool though. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the dark fantasy and horror sound. That, I
Yeah.
have to give that a try.
Absolutely.
All right. So books, anime, manga, gaming. What haven't we covered? What do
I
you
don't know.
do that's not on your channel for fun? I mean, like
Oh,
sports, ninja.
oh, I wish I was that cool.
What
No, I that's about all my time, to be honest. I mean, I'll spend time with my girlfriend, but other than that, we're watching Dexter right now, which is great. I love Dexter, or we'll go out and do things, but that's about all my time. I mean, my time is eaten up quite a bit by work and grad school, so I got to be very selective with hobbies these days. There's already not enough time to do all the. I want to play more games. I want to write more. I want to read more. I want to watch more stuff. So is what it is.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's like if I watch a show that's reading, I'm not getting done. And I think
Yeah,
we talked about
exactly.
that earlier. It's like whatever you pick, it's taking something else's place.
Yeah, Zodiac Academy. Okay, okay. Yeah, there's a opportunity cost, right?
Yep, exactly. Oh, so somebody took the economy class. I remember that. I think that was it macroeconomics or intro to business. I do remember that though. Opportunity
Yeah,
cost.
it's tough. It's tough. I long for a day where I can survive on 4 hours of sleep per night, but
Yeah, that is totally the truth. And trust me, I'm a little bit ahead of you, but I can survive a day with no sleep, but it can't do 2 days anymore. It's like, no, it's not
oh, no
happening.
way. Yeah, no way. I can get by a bad night of sleep. I'm fine for a day. There was like a I don't know 6 to 8 month period where I was sleeping like 6 hours, which is I didn't feel great, right? But I
Right.
got more done. So sometimes it's like you do what you got to do kind of thing. I was just super busy, but like as much as I don't want to admit it, I need 7 or 8 hours a night. I just can't, you know, I can't function very well without it, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. In my 20s when I was in the military, it's like I could do like, 4 hours of sleep a night and then crash on the weekend.
Mm, yeah,
These days, man, if I get a second day of 4 hours of sleep, I am just a zombie.
I feel
It's
you.
like, nope, we're not
Yeah,
doing
I
this.
feel you. Especially now, like I don't drink any caffeine anymore, so like I don't even have that to save me. You just kind of, you know,
No, I started getting the diet stuff, but I still do drink the caffeine.
there you
Although I
go.
was unfortunately, I drank so much caffeine. Caffeine doesn't really keep me up.
Yeah, that's how my mom is.
I drink way
She'll
too much.
Yeah, that's how she is. I was like, I love caffeine. I miss it a lot. I wish I could still do it. It was just giving me some weird, uh, like anxiety symptoms, so I had to chill. But I miss it a lot. It was great.
Oh, yes, absolutely, 100%. Not healthy for me, even if it is a diet soda, but
Hey,
you're right.
whatever. You gotta
I'm
enjoy
just trying
life.
to drink less calories. I can't afford them anymore.
You gotta enjoy life still.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get going through the chat here. There's a whole thing, a lot of thing about reading it for the lulz.
Ah, I see.
Hey, now, I'm pretty sure I saw this video earlier. Wasn't that
Thomas,
on
I'm,
your video this morning?
I don't know if I would say Thomas Covenant has. I mean, I guess technically there's smut in there, a tiny bit in the first book, but yeah. I think everyone should read it though. It's fantastic. But
I swear I've heard of it, I just haven't read it. Of course,
oh
let's
man,
there's a
it's
lot of that.
yeah. Oh, totally. It's so good though. I think it was written in the 70s, the first trilogy at least.
Yeah, and I don't
Um,
think I've read half the books that are behind me, to be honest.
that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I got Kronk's trilogy up there, I bought all 3 of them, and then I
Oh
still
yeah,
haven't read the first one.
I hear good things.
I do too. Oh, hey, there it is. Somewhere the wicked this way comes, Ray Bradbury. He's right there. I still haven't read him. I haven't even
That's
bent a
funny.
page yet.
Yeah, it'd be that way. But yeah, Thomas Covenant's awesome. I'm very glad that I got the chance to meet Donaldson. back at that ICFA conference in March, and I got them all signed, and like, I'm like, this is amazing. I haven't read any of these, but like, will you please sign it? It was funny. I felt kind of weird, but um, I'm hoping I get the chance to meet him again and actually talk to him about how much I love his books. That'd be really cool.
Gotcha. You gonna start doing the interviews?
I've done a couple. I've talked to Janny. I've talked to Christopher Rocchio. I've talked to Ryan Cahill. I've talked to, I guess, John, Amy, and I guess it was just John and Jacob. Amy couldn't make it, that one. Who else have I talked to? Philip about the Adam books. So I've done a handful. They're super fun. I would love to do more. Some of it's just kind of a scheduling
I
thing.
feel like there's two separate, at least for our section of BookTube. There's a certain group of authors that have just like almost all of us have had on at some point.
Yeah.
Um, the weird thing is that's probably the one I've had the least amount of. I've had Chance on, although as I joked with Chance before, when I asked him to be on, his book wasn't coming out yet, and it was supposed to be just a booktuber talk, and then his book came.
Uh-huh.
I had Tori Tekken on, who of course, but again, I mean, I feel like some of these people are also they're booktubers as well.
Mhm.
But there's that group, Chance I have or Rocky I haven't had on yet, Jenny I haven't had on yet. Um, I've had a lot of the other weird ones, the ones that aren't normally part of that group.
Yeah,
Is
that's
there
so
is
fun
there
though.
anybody specific that you really, really wanna have on that you haven't had on yet? But who's that
Yeah,
next
oh man,
holy grail?
absolutely. Well, now I would love to talk to Donaldson, but I don't know if he does that. If he does, that'd be fun though. Steven Erickson's at the very top of the list for sure. As a massive Malazan fan, um, Sanderson would be cool. As much as I don't think that's realistic, that'd be really fun.
He is
Um,
very hard he has gatekeepers, he is hard to get a
oh,
hold
for
of.
sure, yeah. There's so many. I mean, Abercrombie would be fun to talk to. John Gwynn would be fun to talk to.
I think you could get
There's a
Abercrombie.
there's a bunch. Maybe we see. I mean, you shoot your shot. You never know. I guess.
Yep.
Um, doesn't hurt to ask. But it's cool that like I've already gotten a chance to talk to some of my like Christopher and Janny are like a couple of my all time favorites. I'm like, oh, this is
Mhm.
incredible. Gene Wolfe would be awesome, but that's kind of difficult to do these days.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, there's a big handful. Those are the ones that come to mind immediately. J.K. Rowling would be cool, but she's also, I imagine, difficult to get a hold of. So
And difficult to have a conversation with without I mean, you definitely have to record it, otherwise
yeah,
you're
for
gonna get
sure.
bubbles in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. But it just with how much Harry Potter means to me, that would be super fun. Um, I don't know. Yeah, there's a
Although
ton.
you
Tad
could do that,
Williams would be cool.
so they were gonna have Edgar Allan Poe on, and then you could use that second camera to point down at the Ouija board.
Yeah, it's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Angel was on the same page there.
Yes. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do that. That'd be a good one to. It's a good skill to learn.
Yeah. Was the one I saw the other day. Oh, someone was like, "How did you summon the demon?" And then it was, like, some big long name in your living room, and it's like, "Well," and they've got, like, a Ouija board, like, rug and, like, a Roomba. Like, "Eh, wasn't intentional."
That's funny.
Cool. Anybody else in the chat have any big questions? I think, like I said, we covered books, games. I mean, that was kind of the fun thing I wanted to have you on too, is because you have some of that. And of course, it's not a put down like it was when I was a kid. Nerds are cool these days. We're allowed to
Yeah.
be nerds, but you had some of those nerdy things that I think not all the booktubers have. Is like talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Even if we have you guys put one together yet? I know you were working on it at one time.
Yeah, we had one, man, when did we do that? That must have been back in like November or something. We had one on my channel. The replay's still up. It was so much fun. Um, and then and who all was on that? That was me, Chance, John, Talking Story, Brian Bell. I think that was it. And then Will McLaughlin, who's a fantasy writer, was the DM. And it was super, super fun. And then I was trying to put another one together. And then I had my schedule just got waylaid by this huge road trip. And so I couldn't do it, but the rest of the guys got together. I think that one might have been on Thomas Howell's channel. They did a game. It was who all was on. I'll forget somebody, but it's on there. And so like I would love to get more organized. It'd be fun. It's just it's tough to coordinate that many schedules. and set aside that much time, because even a one shot, you're looking at 3 hours probably, right? Optimistically.
Yeah.
So like it can be tough to organize, and then obviously you're asking a lot of somebody to DM, and that sort of thing. So it's tricky, but it is very fun, and I definitely want to do more.
Yeah, I almost put one together, but we couldn't get everybody's schedule on at the same time. It
It's
was
hard, man.
ridiculous.
It's hard, but
Well, it didn't help that I went for, like, a all-star cast, so I wasn't just so it was gonna be interesting. It would have been fun if we did it, but
sure.
not everybody not I couldn't get all my authors to have the same time off, you know? Some of them
Mm.
wanted, like, write books and crap, I don't know, it's like, so
So
rude.
selfish. How dare they?
Yep, exactly. Greatest
Yes.
greatest enemy of a lot of any type you're gonna get together and play a game, something that's not well, let's face it, even trying to get together a group on World of Warcraft or something, let's go raid something, it's like,
Sure.
you get to a certain age, it's like, "I'm busy Friday. Oh, I got, date night Saturday night. Oh, I got the kids."
Yep. Yep.
Adulting sucks, it really, really does.
It does. I miss being a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
work-life balance or whatever.
Yeah. And like now these days, especially you try to organize, people on BookTube, it's like people are in not only different time zones, but like maybe a vastly different time zone, you
True.
know? So it's like when we did that one on my channel, like Will is in the UK. So we were like we had a pretty tight window of times that would work for both him and for
Mhm.
us here in the States. Like so it's yeah, it gets tough.
Yeah, I think I've
But
only had 2 authors so far that were way out of time zone,
mhm.
and we just ended up doing it on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
guess I'll throw
not
Kate
horrible.
Elliott in there too because she's in Hawaii, which
Oh,
is almost
okay.
the same as it's just
Yeah,
the other direction.
far enough away. You start getting to some of like the Asian countries, it gets really tough.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's
But
it's crazy. I also feel like and I know you've only been doing this for 11 months, but maybe you can tell me if you've seen this as well. I feel like at some point in the last year or so, even the booktubers themselves, we've all gotten busier.
yeah.
I'm gonna blame Brian Bell for, doing his, like, I'm gonna have a video every day. Brian's not in the chat, but he knows I'm joking. Um, but even like me, I've told people, like, this year I've gotten way more interviews than I normally do, which has gotten crazy.
Mhm.
But, who is it? Uh, John Minton on today was talking about his week, and he's again, it's things like this where it's not just, for instance, not just what you're putting out, but you're also on somebody else's channel this week.
Yeah.
Oh, heck, you're on 2 people channel. I mean, today, you're on 2.
Yeah.
It's just like your time is just like, "Holy crap," and so trying to get somebody scheduled, I'll have, like, a something come out, and I realize that 2 other booktubers are got live streams the exact same time,
Uh-huh.
and then we all gotta figure out who we're gonna I mean, obviously, you can watch replays, but you can only do so many of those.
Sure.
It's,
Yeah.
it's getting a little crowded.
It's tough. It's I made the great mistake early on of trying to schedule live streams for like Friday evenings. And then I was like, I don't have 0 viewers. What's going on with this? Why is nobody here? And I didn't put together. I was competing with the same audience as Jimmy Nuts. And like, of course, everyone's gonna go watch Jimmy instead of me, right? I would too.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's tough. And that's sort of one of the things that you get more popular and you're as cool as people like John and Philip and those guys, and all of a sudden you're on someone's channel almost every day.
Exactly.
Which is awesome for them, right? And I love seeing all the
Hey,
content. It's fun to watch, but I imagine difficult on their schedules because they have jobs, they have families, and all that stuff too, right?
I think that's one of the reasons I quit doing so many of the authors live is it really was only getting more people if, like, that author had a group that, let's say
Sure.
there are gonna people that are gonna watch every Christopher Rocchio. And there
Yeah.
people are gonna go see all of those. But the rest of them, even like, William Kent Kruger was a live one. I think I only had 1 or 2 people in the chat, the
Okay.
whole time,
Yeah.
and, he's Ordinary Grace, come on now, I mean, like
Yeah.
he's got best-selling books.
For sure.
It's like one of those things where if the chat's gonna be that quiet and again, I get it, there's so many people, there's always something to do. I can't think of a single time where somebody hasn't been on and I'm like, "Oh, somebody else also has a live stream going." Eenie It's like,
Hmm.
"Who do I support?" let's face it, half the time I just end up with both windows open,
There you go.
um, but you can only really follow one of them.
Yeah.
We're just great. I mean, like I said, I'm talking about you today. You had 2 interviews today, and that's not even something you're posting.
Yeah. It's so fun though, I love it. Like, I would do it all the time. It's,
Oh, I mean, I enjoy again, A, first of all, just talking to other people doing the same thing,
yeah.
and B, talking to somebody for as much as we're in the booktube business, it's nice to have somebody on once in a while where I don't have to read a book for it.
Yes, I can imagine. I
It
can
just
imagine.
it
Yeah.
gets, I got really lucky. My last 3 interviews were all, like, sub 300-page books.
Nice.
Then there was that Chance guy, it was, like, 500 or something, but, but, yeah, it's like, it sometimes it's like, "Man, I just need a break."
Yeah. How much time do you give yourself to get through those books? Like, do you have to go through them really quick, or is it kinda more
A
flexible?
lot of it depends.
Yeah.
A lot of it really depends, like I said, again, this year is an outlier, it's crazy. I always aimed in the past for, like, 1 a month.
Okay.
Sometimes people would double up or something like that, or, I'd have a book couple in a month, and then I have, like, a month off. But this year, especially, I had a lot of people, not only ones that I'd scheduled, but ones that had, like, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. Neil Schusterman last year or the year before that, they changed websites and stuff like that. They changed the email address, and his person got back to me this year and is like, "Oh, crud, we changed our emails. We were just going through the old stuff. I found you in the spam folder." And I've had a
Mm,
couple this year where they've gotten back to me, like, months after I'd talked to them, and then they're like, "Hey, do you wanna do such and such?" And sometimes you don't wanna say no because you really, really wanna talk to this author, and that's not Neil in this case. He's the most recent example of
sure.
somebody that's, like, come back later. Uh, but you're also like, I also scheduled somebody for that month, so now I've got 2 books to read, and what's the one I had the 1 month this year, so June was my craziest. The plus was that I actually interviewed V. Schwab back in, like, April, and we were
Mhm.
waiting for her book come out. But then I had John Wiswell, Chance Dillon, and, horror author Craig DeLuey. I had all 4 of those interviews in the same month,
Yeah.
and, if they're a bunch of 300-page books, that's, no big deal. But you get a couple of 5 or 6 or, heaven forbid, an epic fantasy in there,
It adds up.
it's like, I'm doing nothing but reading this week.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it adds up for sure. That's cool though. I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? And at
Yeah.
least like you being the interviewer have at least some amount of control over being able to space things out. Obviously, with authors, like I can imagine there's an aspect of like, oh, I want to get them while I can, kind of thing. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Alright, Angel, I don't know what mainline means, at least not in that context, or maybe I'm just missing it. Oh, sorry if I missed this. Sarah Beth is on her way out to yoga. Can't believe she'd pick that over listening to you wrap up. Yeah.
come on. Thanks for hanging out though.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Angel, my schedule's almost never the same. Oh, yeah, we already did that one. Sorry. Sorry. I'm playing catch up here on the chat. Yes, exactly. Now, Fox, that is definitely something to do if you're just a reader. But if you're interviewing an author on Friday, you kind of have to have the book done by. Uh, there's a couple of times where I haven't managed to finish. I think, for instance, I had Elizabeth the Bear on early, and she'd had a new book coming out in a series. So I was trying to read the whole series to catch up, and I didn't quite finish in time.
Oh,
We did get to talk about the series. Jen Lyons, I had the same thing because she came on for Hope or for Discord of the Gods. Yeah, but that was like book 5 in that series. So I was
okay.
playing a lot of catch up.
Yeah.
Which is why I really try to pick ones that are new or in a series I've already read now if I
Yeah.
can get away with it. But yeah, it's just again, I haven't had too many books that I didn't absolutely love, but you can also they can also feel a little bit like homework if you're trying to get them done by
Sure.
a certain time.
I can imagine. Have you ever had a you schedule that and you get through the book and you didn't like it and you you still had to interview somebody? Like, have you had that happen before?
I've had one that I didn't love, and I'm not gonna
Okay.
say who that was,
Sure.
but, we still had stuff to talk about. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I used to when I first started out, I was only and of course, I had no idea what I was doing when I was first starting out, but I would find a book that I liked, and then I'd reach out to the author.
Mhm.
So I was talking to authors about books that are already out.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the times, uh, for instance, the V. Schwab interview, I interviewed her in April about a book that I'd read, but the book didn't come out till June. Uh, so I'm reading I'm doing a lot of these things where I'm setting up the interview, but it's because I'm going to read the arc.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and again, I have been lucky. Most of the time, I look first. I look at the book, what it's about, and decide whether or not is that at least going to be in my wheelhouse.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense. Good way to get arcs
yeah,
too, I guess, huh?
it can be interesting sometimes. You know, like some book will come out, like the one that I just read. Oh, I moved it. This actually, I loved this book. I still haven't talked to the author. It's called Library at Hellbore by Cassandra Kaw.
Huh?
This is the arc. I got to read it ahead of time, but it was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be based on the back. But
Okay.
luckily, I loved it. It just, sometimes they can surprise you in a good way.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a different animal when you're setting up an interview for a book that you haven't read yet, and you're like, "I really hope I've loved other books by this author. I really
Yeah.
hope I love this book." Or, "This book sounds good. I hope it's as good as it sounds."
Mhm. Yeah,
Again,
for
I
sure.
have been super, super lucky. I don't think I've ever had the worst one was probably I would make it 3.5 stars. I've never had
Okay. Yeah.
what I would consider a bad book that I had to talk about.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Uh, okay, okay, now I gotta catch up on, oh, not too far. Fox is the slowest reader ever. Up, I clicked on the wrong one, the chat moved.
Gotcha.
Um, I don't know, I think Jacob Minton might, challenge you on that. Just kidding, Jacob, we love you.
There you
Pros.
go.
I'm using the word pro loosely here. Can't talk to myself in the mirror, I'm not interviewing, okay. Jeez. Alright. So I'm going to go I don't have a one for the road or anything like Brian does. I probably should, but I don't. And you know what? I am gonna ask you this one of the same questions I ask the authors when I have them on.
Okay.
What are you reading now?
I am sorry, I wasn't sure if there was a follow-up to that. I
There is,
am
but I decided to wait so that you don't have to remember them
okay. So, I'm reading 3 things right now, actually. 2 are kinda really slow chipping away. I've been reading By Blood, by Salt by J.L. Odom, about halfway through that one. Good so
all.
far. I am on, the first standalone in the first law, the Best Served Cold. Just started that this morning, actually. Couple chapters in, liking it a lot so far. I've only read the first trilogy, so it's long overdue that I come back to First Law. And buddy reading that one with Ashley from Library of the Silver Saint, her channel. So that's been really fun. And my main thing, though, is back to the Wars of Light and Shadow. So I'm on book
Oh,
4, Fugitive Prince, and just one chapter in, but it has my whole heart and soul. I love that series to death. So very glad to be back. I just finished the second book in the Thomas Covenant series, and that was unbelievable. So I'm got a lot of good stuff going on.
also, are we pulled back or did you get a haircut when I wasn't looking?
We're pulled back. Yeah.
Okay.
It took way too long to grow this out, man. I'm not cutting it.
Well, yeah, I don't nah, I don't cut mine
You
either.
could get the size at least.
And then the, last question I ask and you're not prepared for this, but I don't think it'll be a hard one for you.
Okay.
Shout out to a brick and mortar bookstore of your choice.
Ooh. Um, man. I would say I haven't been to much here close to where I live, which is funny, but I recently was going through North Carolina and I got to visit Quail Ridge Books, which is very, very cool bookstore. I like the vibe there a lot. So if you're ever in the Raleigh area, go check out Quail Ridge.
Like I always tell people, I'm not an Amazon hater per se, but I do love my brick and mortars. So
It is fun.
love to give
It's
them
really
a
great.
shot. Well, Jake, I want to thank you for taking out your time to hang out with us here today. We appreciate it.
Of
Appreciate
course.
everybody who stopped in the chat. Always love the comments, especially helps move the stuff along. Some of you think of things I wouldn't have thought to ask, so I appreciate that. And I think we're probably gonna go ahead and wrap it up tonight, which means, unfortunately, I still have some time to do some stuff that the wife wanted me to do. So, shame on chat for
Man.
not talking longer. I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate you guys. Again, thanks for your time, Jacob. Love your channel. Been
Sure thing.
playing a little catch up here and there. But again, I love having used to try to follow everybody, and now I try to find channels that fill those needs. So there's some
Yeah.
stuff that you cover, like especially like the nerdy type stuff. Again, I'm a nerd.
Mhm.
I watch that for that, and I watch Petrick for stuff I can't afford. Things like that.
Yes.
And so always appreciate you guys. And yeah, Angel's as bad as me. Angel never shuts up.
Well, before we end it, let me just say thank you so much for having me on here. This is awesome. It's great to talk to you. Great to actually meet you face to face, and fun to talk, fun to hang out with the chat as always. This has been great. So thank you.
Oh, exactly, exactly. And I think I'm going to rewatch this because there's, I think, a whole bunch of book and manga suggestions that I am going to have to play catch up
Ooh,
on now.
nice.
So
Same. I'll have to check it out.
if I will put some of that crap in the words happen. I got stuck on definition in the description
There you
after I
go.
get a chance to rewatch this. All right, take
Awesome.
care, guys, and we will catch you later.
Sweet.